as Jesse said, my name is Simone Conforto, and I am the Chief of the Leadership Development Directorate within the Learning and Development Division here in the Office of Human Capital Services. I, of course, want to welcome you again all to the FY25 Leadership Development Program info session on the Assistant Director Development Program, or ADDP. I will be taking you through today's presentation, and during our time together today, we'll of course discuss ADDP. We'll be covering program staff, eligibility for the program, provide an overview of the program objectives and methodology, and review the application process and timeline. And then lastly, we will provide an opportunity for you to ask questions and leave you with our contact information. So as we're going through the presentation this afternoon, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat as we go along. And then once we conclude, we will also be rounding up all of these questions to put into an FAQ for everyone. So VBA, as you know, is committed to developing our 21st century leaders to meet the needs of our 21st century veterans, as well as the needs of our future work within the federal government. In alignment with the department's core leadership competencies, our leadership programs work to enrich our participants' leadership knowledge and competencies by engaging them in critical thought, independent and group learning activities, as well as other ongoing assignments. So if you're considering moving into the assistant director role or the equivalent within VBA, and you're looking to develop your skills and experience, I really think that ADDP can help you get there through a combination of leadership coaching, virtual and in-person coursework, and extended career broadening detail assignments. You're really going to expand your skill sets as you learn to lead programs and gain higher level skills. ADDP specifically focuses on developing your competencies in business acumen, driving a results-driven organization, and leading change. You will truly begin to develop a perspective for oversight at the executive level. And to top it all off, you'll be in regular contact with senior leaders from both regional and central offices, which is such a fantastic opportunity to build your network. So we highly, highly recommend you consider applying for our program. And if you're a GS 14 or 15, to really help you prepare you and propel you into your senior leader ranks. So this is just a quick little picture of our ADDP graduates from FY24. I cannot say enough about this group. They were outstanding. And I just want to point out that about 20% of our graduates from this last FY have already received promotions, which is huge. So we're just thrilled and really excited about what this next FY has to offer for you all as well. So now I would like to introduce you to our program manager, Miss Elizabeth Pravat. She is a learning management officer here in the Leadership Development Directorate. And the role of the program manager really is to keep the program running smoothly. She is who will check in regularly with participants on their progress towards the various program milestones and is really there as a person for support. So with that said, Miss Pravat, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Simone, and thank you all for joining us today. So great to see such a good turnout and a lot of interest in today's program. So let's go on to the next slide. And before we get into details about what the program covers, we'll first cover some eligibility requirements to make sure that you are eligible for this program. And before you get too excited about what the program contains. So the program is open to those who are currently GS 14 or 15s, and each applicant does need to have at least 1 year of supervisory experience at the 14 or 15 level in order to be eligible. We also look to ensure that you have career status and at least 1 year with VBA by the time the applications close, which will be at the end of February this year. And we are wanting to make sure you had at least a fully successful or better on your last 2 performance evaluations. And during the application process, you will be asked to submit those performance reviews. And for your awareness, you should know that if you are accepted into the program, participants are asked to sign a 2-year continuing service agreement for all of the benefits that come along with the program. And it's noteworthy that successful completion and acceptance into the program does not guarantee any type of advancement. It's just an opportunity to grow your skill set and boost your exposure to various leadership opportunities. So those are the basic eligibility requirements. Let's go to the next slide. So the program objectives at a high level, let's talk through those. When you go through this program, what you can expect to come away with is a solid understanding of approaches and tools that come along with managing multiple business lines as a third line supervisor. You'll hear from those who have walked this path before and hear how their journey went and lessons learned from their experiences. And you can take that information and incorporate it into your own growth journey. We want you to understand some of the differing challenges you might encounter when you are managing a business line that you are not the subject matter expert of. So again, in hearing from others who have gone through this before, they'll talk about the risks that they became aware of as they expanded their leadership exposure and share with you what they learned through their growth. And then lastly, you will develop an individual development plan that surrounds and it relates directly to the executive core qualifications. Although an assistant or deputy director isn't the SES level in the sense that you are applying and writing your ECQs, we want to start to prepare you for what that looks like and what any gaps you may have as you look even further into your career journey. So the content that we have within the ADD program is built around VBA's leadership development framework. This framework outlines competencies that are necessary at various points along a leader's journey. And specifically for the ADDP program, we are looking at the manager and the senior level competencies. These competencies are shown on the screen here. And now I'd like to talk through some of the methodology that we use to touch on these competencies. So with this program, you will have the opportunity to participate in a week-long mediation training through the Atlanta Justice Center to learn some of the basics of mediation. You'll also have an opportunity to engage in a 60 to 90-day developmental detail, and you'll be paired with a mentor for the duration of the program. That'll take about approximately 2 to 3 hours per month, depending upon the scheduling that you and your mentor agree on. You will also go through a 360-degree evaluation assessment to help get perspectives from around you, above you, below you, and really identify the gaps that you have in your skill sets. And getting that honest perspective and that honest feedback is one of the first steps that you'll take to identify where your growth needs lie. And from that identification, that's when you'll build a lot of your developmental activities and select things to place on your IDP to really fill in the gaps to make yourself the best leader that you can be as you go on to that assistant director level. And we also have an optional executive coaching opportunity through HCS's executive coaching division. Some other competencies that we will focus on with content throughout the duration of the program include innovation, agility, developing others, partnering, and continual learning. So a variety of competencies that you can expect to grow within throughout the program. So some of the requirements that you should be able to anticipate fulfilling in order to successfully complete the program include 3 in-person residencies. So that is Foundations Week. The dates are shown in the screen here, and that will be held in Baltimore, Maryland. We have Assessment Week in August. The location is still to be determined. And then Executive Week will take place in Washington, D.C. in October. Of course, these dates are subject to travel fund availability. So while we plan for them to be in person, that is subject to change. And then, of course, the Atlanta Justice Center, they do have one virtual offering during the duration of the program, but the remaining offerings are in person. So you might be asked to travel to the Atlanta Justice Center for that week-long training. And then we also have virtual intersessions throughout the program. So these are approximately 2 per month, 1 to 2 hours each. And we do ask that you try to attend as best as possible in person. If there is a conflict, we will have a recording available, but we ask that that is the exception and not the rule. So all of the things I've mentioned so far on this slide are kind of that classroom experience. And the classroom experience is great, and it's helpful to get that course, that the school type of exposure, but we really want you to have that hands-on opportunity to take that information from the classroom and apply it to a real world setting. So that's where the detail assignment comes into place, as well as the partnership with your mentor, where you can go and talk about real world situations with that trusted ally. And then, of course, the detail assignment. This is a chance for you to take that information that you learned in the classroom and apply it to a real world stretch assignment. So for the most part, the details may be may or may not involve travel, and that's going to depend upon the availability of funding. HCS does not offer funding for these detail opportunities, but if your station or the station to which you will be detailed has funding available, then in-person detail opportunities are an option. But again, that's just on a case-by-case basis, depending upon the situation as it arises. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So things to think about as you are considering applying to ADDP. This program would be a good fit for you if you are looking to advance and lead people on a greater scale within VBA. We want participants who do have a growth mindset and are interested in continual learning. A lot of the activities we engage in will ask you to dig deeper, take some of those hard looks at your own skill set, and be honest about where you might need to grow. If you thrive on challenges that come from increased responsibility, this is a great program for you. That's what we are constantly doing in the classroom. Our executive sponsors are with us during those residency sessions to share their experience and challenge your own thought processes. So it's a really fantastic opportunity to have that group learning environment. And then lastly, if you want to build relationships and learn from others and share your experiences with those who are like-minded, this program is a good fit for you. So if you have any questions along the way, you can feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is shown here. We also have a SharePoint where all of the applications will and associated material will be listed once they go live on Monday, February 2nd, 3rd rather. And we have a general mailbox that you can contact as well. So let's go ahead and go and talk to some specifics about the application itself on the next slide. So in order to apply for this program, you'll have to submit some essay questions. There are 3 associated with the ADDP application. We'll want to have a resume from you capturing your experience, but no more than 5 pages. You will have to upload 2 prior performance evaluations into the application portal. And we'll also get input from your direct supervisor as well as an approving official who is typically going to be your executive director or whomever your executive director may designate for this purpose. So they will look to your skill set, your experience, and give an evaluation of how they think you will perform in the program and make a recommendation from there. And all of those materials about what they consider and how those points are laid out will be explained in the material that will be posted to the SharePoint in the coming days. And then, of course, if selected into the program, we'll ask you to sign that continuing service agreement. So let's talk through some of the rating criteria. So part 1 is going to be the information that is shown in your resume. We have a list of competencies upon which you'll be evaluated. Those are shown in the screen here. So make sure that the resume illustrates how you have experience in these areas. That'll be 30% of your score. Let's take a look at part 2. This will be your essay score and will again comprise 30% of your score. There are, again, 3 questions, and there's a maximum of 5 points per question. And part 3 will be the evaluation from your supervisor, immediate supervisor, and this will ask about specific leadership competencies, and your direct supervisor will be asked to evaluate you in that particular competency. This will comprise 20% of your score. And then lastly, part 4. Part 4 is going to come from your executive director's recommendation, and it will be one of these 4 bullets listed here: highest possible recommendation, strongly recommend, recommend, or do not recommend. So all of those scores will be calculated and then weighed based upon the formula shown here, and that's how we make the first round of selection, and then those who kind of come above a certain cut score based upon how the scores fall out will be selected for an interview. And then the interview is scored based upon the questions that are asked from a panel of senior executives. And then just for awareness, the items on the part 1 and part 2, those are also scored by a panel of senior executives comprised of both regional office and central office executives. Okay, so let's talk timeline. So the application period will close on February 28th. Of course, it will go live on Monday, February 3rd. So again, look for that information on our SharePoint for all of the application packets and additional information that we've talked about today, and a link to the application portal, which is in Microsoft Forms. So again, get all of that submitted by February 28th. Try to get your supervisor evaluation submitted by that same date. We will pull all the data, get it packaged up for the panels to review, and hopefully get everybody notified if they are going to be selected or non-selected for an interview by March 21st. Then we'll hold the interviews March 24th through April 4th. And make our recommendations in the month of April, and then get USB approval in the month of May. And then ultimately program will kick off in June with a kickoff call, and then we'll be on our way to Foundations Week and all of the other wonderful things that we'll do together. Next slide, please. Okay, are there any questions? I know that was a lot of information, and I thank you, Simone, for putting the link to the SharePoint there in the chat where you can find further details. But is there anything at this point that I could answer? I don't see anything in the chat box, but we'll certainly wait for anybody to add anything there. And something that I will add, just for your awareness, we do have a growing alumni network of individuals who have graduated any of our national leadership development programs, which include LEAD, LEAP, and ADDP. And we have a program called Where Are They Now? That features graduates of each program. And in the chat that Ms. Conforto just posted a link to the SharePoint with interviews from graduates. So if you're interested in hearing from any ADDP graduates, you can check out that website and listen to interviews from them. And also this network is just a great opportunity to do additional networking within VBA from leaders at all different levels. So once you are a graduate of ADDP, you can join that alumni network as well. So Ms. Allen in the chat is asking, if your resume is longer than 5 pages, will you still accept it, but focus only on the first 5 pages? I would say we would need to limit the review then to those first 5 pages, simply because that is the requirement. And I would ask if you aren't able to shorten it, then simply delete the remaining pages so that there isn't any indication that we considered more than was acceptable. So please only submit 5 pages. Okay, any other questions before we conclude for today? Okay, well, I am not seeing any. If you do have anything after the fact, again, please reach out to me via Teams or email. My name's Elizabeth Pravat. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. And I look forward to seeing some of you in the program this coming year. Thank you so much.